War Thunder has no shortage of tanks. Some are great, some are not so great. Today, we are taking a trip through the battle ratings from 1.0 to 6.0 to look at what I think are the best tanks at each BR. These picks are based on the effectiveness and how fun they are to play, not just the raw stats on the stat card. Starting off at 1.0, we have the M8 LAC. What sets it apart from a surprisingly strong cannon paired with a 50 cal machine gun, which at this low BR is practically cheating. It's extremely mobile, letting you flank with ease or get to key positions early. The speed also helps you avoiding return fire, which is very important because this thing has no armor. If you play it right, you will dominate early games. A seal clubber's wet dream. Next up is the AS-42, an Italian wheeled vehicle armed with a 20mm autocannon. It may not look like much, but autocannons at these low BRs are insanely strong. It also has incredible mobility and lets you get on those powerful flanks easily and early. I like to use it kind of a mobile ambusher, get to a flank, find a good line of sight, and punish anything I see. You won't survive a head-on with most tanks at this BR, but if you catch people off guard, you can wipe out entire squads before they even react. Next up, we have the M3 GMC. It is a half-track tank destroyer with a very powerful 75mm gun, the same gun found on the Shermans. At 1.7, that gun gives you the edge against heavies, medium tanks, and everything else you'll face. Its APHE rounds offer great post-penetration damage, and with careful aim, you can one-shot just about anything you see. It's not fast, and it's definitely not armored, so treat it like a sniper. Set up down a road or on a hill, and let the guns carry the rest. For 2.0, I picked Germany's SDKFZ 140/1. It brings a autocannon with a bit of extra survivability. Unlike some of the glass cannons, this one has enough armor to shrug off a few smaller rounds. Its 20mm cannon is rapid and versatile, capable of dealing with light armor and even some mediums. Use your speed to get to strong early map positions and control key areas. It's not a straightforward vehicle to play, but it can still be very effective if you play it correctly. Also, it is a low-cost premium, making it a good grinding tool if you're starting out with the German line. At 2.3, we have the CCKV 353 SPAA in the French lineup. This is a track with a bull force, and that's kind of the whole pitch. The 353 is a French SPAA with a 40mm cannon that punches well above its BR. It melts light and medium tanks if you aim well. The biggest downside is obvious, no armor, and not very much in the way of speed. But if you play it from a good position, it becomes a absolutely gatekeeper. At 2.7, the M8A1 is a light tank destroyer with the same reliable 75mm gun, but this time it has decent mobility and way better gun handling. It's fast enough to play the flanks and hits hard and reliably to destroy most targets at this tier. Unfortunately, it is an event vehicle, so not everyone has access to it. I think it's a top tier choice for 2.7, ideal for players like me who like mobility and being able to kill pretty much anything very easily. At 3.0, the M4A3 105 Sherman trades reload and gun handling for raw penetrative power and explosive damage. With heat shells, it becomes a serious threat to most vehicles it faces, especially at long range. It still has a solid Sherman chassis, and at this BR, it's actually very hard to penetrate and kill this tank. It also has a vertical mobility. It's not as fast as some of the tanks you'll see, but it's definitely not a slouch. Moving on to 3.3. I chose the P40 in the Italian tech tree. It's an early medium tank. The P40 offers solid all-around package. It has a decent frontal armor, a capable cannon, and just enough speed to get where it needs to go. It's not flashy, but it gets the job done. It does not have any major weaknesses, which makes it a very safe and effective pick at 3.3. At 3.7, I chose the Swedish Sherman 3/4. Sweden gets access to the classic Sherman through a premium tank. It's just as reliable in the Swedish tech tree as it is in all the other ones. Stabilization is amazing, makes firing on the move very easy, and the gun handles most threats without issue. Personally, I use it as a frontline tank, shooting targets of opportunity. You can also easily push objectives, hold positions, back up your teammates. The playstyle is unlimited. The armor won't always hold up, but a lot of the time it will, especially against T-34s. Again, the mobility, the ease of use makes it all a consistently good choice. At 4.0, you already know what I had to pick, the KB1E in the German tech tree. It's a beast at 4.0. With excellent armor, some of the best armor in the game, and it's very forgiving playstyle. It's amazing for players who like to hold charge points or lead the charge. Perfect for my personal playstyle. It's slow, but you don't need to be fast when most enemies can't even pen your front, side, or rear armor. The gun isn't amazing, but it gets the job done. Okay-ish penetration and good pulse spin damage. If you want to feel invincible at low tier, this is the absolute best pick. At 4.3, the T-55E1, a real tank destroyer in the American tech tree. It is an event tank that brings both speed and firepower in a very weird, interesting package. It's not for everyone, but in the right hands, it is absolutely deadly. Its gun performs well for its tier, and its mobility lets you outmaneuver most opponents. It handles like a shopping cart on ice, but if you can whack around that, it's perfect for fast flanks and ambushes. Just be careful with your crew. They're all extremely exposed to machine gun fire. At 4.7, we have the T-34-57. This T-34 variant trades explosive pillar for a high-velocity 57mm gun with a wicked fast reload. It's laser accurate. It has amazing penetration. It is ideal for long-range engagements or surgical targeting weak spots. You still get the classic T-34 mobility and sloped armor, so you're not losing anything there. It rewards players with the good aim and nap awareness, making it a strong and very good pick for methodical, aggressive, confident players. At 5.0, one of the most overpowered tanks. It is the VK-3002, a Panther prototype that feels like it's wandered in from a high BR. The VK-3002 has sloped armor, good mobility, a extremely powerful 75mm gun, and it's solid in almost every category. The only downside, gun handling is not the best, and its reverse rate is horrible. It can brawl, it can snipe, it can hold angles, it can do almost anything. If you want to play like a mid-tier main battle tank before those even existed, this is the pick. At 5.3, I picked the classic, the T-3485 GT5. You can't go wrong with the T-3485. It's got a very hard-hitting gun with amazing angle penetration. It has surprisingly good and trolley armor, and the signature T-34 agility and maneuverability is still there. It's flexible enough to handle any role. Flanker, support, even frontline fighter, if you're careful. This tank remains competitive even when up-tiered and works well in nearly any lineup. It's one of the strongest all-around vehicles in the game, in my opinion. At 5.7, I chose the Tiger Us, one of the most iconic tanks in history. The Tiger 1 brings an 88mm cannon, strong frontal armor, and pretty decent maneuverability. It's best used at medium to long range, where you can angle effectively and use the gun's accuracy and your amazing pulse penetration damage. Specifically, the tank I chose, the Premium Us variant, also comes with extra armor covering the biggest weak spot on the Tiger 1, the cupola. It's not the fastest, it's a little vulnerable to flanking, but in a straight up fight, it's an absolute freaking monster. I have gotten more nukes in this tank that I want to count. Just don't get too aggressive, you're still vulnerable. You are very high on everyone's target list with this tank. At 6.0, a tank I don't see spoken about too much anymore, the KV-220 in the Russian tech tree. It's basically a super steroid to the KV-1. It has extra protections and very few real weaknesses at this BR. This tank excels at pushing objectives and soaking up fire while your teammates move in. If you own it, you know how strong it is. That wraps up part 1. Make sure to like and subscribe and stick around for part 2, where we'll tackle 6.3 to 12.0.